How to sell a product. Sell anything to anyone with the 4 P's method. Now in this video I'm going to show you how to sell so good that people will be begging to buy your products and throwing their money at you. That'd be great, right? Now you've probably been in a situation in your life already where you had to sell something, okay? And it's not always just a product. It can be any number of things. You know, maybe it's a product, maybe it's your idea to somebody else, your boss, or to a colleague. Maybe it's getting your kids to do the right thing and you have to convince them to do the right thing. The ability to sell is so very important in life, and a lot of people look at it as forcing people to do things they don't want to do, and that's not the case at all. In this video I'm going to show you exactly how to sell so that you actually get real results every single time. Hey, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe. There's a big subscribe button down there. Next to it there's a bell. Ring the bell, okay? Make that sound, turn on all notifications. That way you'll become part of the Fisher family and I can notify you every single time I do a new video. You won't miss anything. Now I want to ask you a question. Put it in the comments below. Have you tried to sell, and if you did, what were the results? What have you sold? What have you found that actually worked? Or maybe you have some questions about selling and you're having a hard time with it. Put it in the description and I'll check it out and I'll give you an answer down there. Now in this particular channel, what I try to do is I share with you the things I've learned. I've been selling online since 2009. I've sold millions of dollars worth of products, and I've sold physical products, I've sold digital products, and I try to help you start, run, and grow your online business. It's the best business in the world, selling online. You can do it from anywhere and you make money 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Oh, I almost forgot, I've got an e-commerce course, a $97 course I want to give you absolutely free. It is in the description below. All you have to do is click and learn. Really simple, don't even need a credit card. So let's go ahead and get started with the 4 P's to selling and how you can use them to sell just about anything to anybody. Now I want to give you a little warning here before you watch this video. These methods work incredibly well, so the only thing I would say to you is don't use these methods for bad reasons, okay? Don't do bad things with these. If you intend to do that, stop watching this video now, because I don't want you to use these methods to do bad things, okay? I want you to only do good things with these methods because they really do work incredibly well. I'll tell you how well these methods work because I've already used them on you. Fact is, you've been watching for the past few minutes because of that formula that I'm using right now, and that actually proves it works because you're still here. Now let's get into the 4 P's. What is the first P? The first P is promise, okay? Now if you noticed in the beginning of this video, I actually promised you something. I promised you some results from watching this video. All the big companies do this. These companies that spend just millions and millions of dollars on 30-second commercials, they need to hook you immediately. They need to hook you within the first 5 seconds. So that's exactly what I did. In the beginning of this video, I made you a promise. I told you what you were going to get if you watch this video, which proves that this works. Now it's super important that at the very beginning, whether you're person to person, whether you're doing a video, whether you've got a sales page, that you set the tone up front. It doesn't matter how good your sales pitch is or your close is if they don't ever get to it, okay? So if you don't hook them in the very beginning, if you don't set the tone in the very beginning, then they're not going to go through your presentation and you won't be selling anything at all. Now you got hooked in the beginning of this video because I told you that people were going to be begging to buy your products and throwing their money at you, and that's what you wanted, so you continued to listen. So that's an example of that promise. The next P is the P of picture. You've got to get them to picture themselves, getting the results, getting what they want. I used to be in the automotive industry, and what I would do is get them to picture that particular car. I would ask them questions like, when you get this car, who do you think will be in the first person in the neighborhood that'll notice the car parked in the driveway and say something to you? And they would reply like, oh, it's going to be Gladys next door. She's so nosy, she notices everything. But what I did actually is I got them to picture that car in their driveway. Or I would ask them questions like, do you normally park your car in the driveway or do you park it in the garage? And you would always see their eyes go up and they would think, would it fit in my garage? Do I have to move stuff around? If they answered me directly and say I would park it in the driveway, I knew that their garage was too full to park a car in there. Or if they just looked at me directly and said, no, I put it in the garage, that's where I park now. You know, either way though, they were picturing that car at their house, and that's exactly what I wanted them to do. Now some people are going to say, well, wouldn't you really want to, you know, sell your car based on the quality and the price and all the amenities? And the answer is no. Actually, people buy on emotions, and then they use logic to confirm their emotions instead of the other way around. They don't logically make purchases. If you think about somebody buying a car and they're trading in a car, well, they don't even need a car, they already have a car. Okay, in most cases people never needed to buy a car. So when I would hear people say I don't really need a car, I knew that already because they drove in. They didn't need a car. It was very rare that somebody took the bus or a cab to the car dealership to go buy a car. They just wanted another car, and they wanted, you know, emotionally to, you know, have a car that was prettier, that had more amenities in it, that people would look at. So, you know, it was really an emotional thing, and I knew that, and knowing that, I stayed away from all of the logical things, because there's nothing logical about buying a car if you already have a car. Now if you notice in the beginning of this video, I painted a picture. I said, you know, maybe you're going to have to convince your boss of some ideas, or a colleague, or maybe you're going to have to convince your kids to do the right thing. And when I did that, I actually painted a picture for you. I put you in those situations that you probably have already been in your life, and since you've already been in them, you kind of picture that in your mind. You're like, yeah, I want my kids to do this, I want them to do their homework, you know, I want them to stay out of trouble, yeah, I want to convince my boss, I have this great idea. And you started picturing that in your mind, and that's exactly what I made you do in the beginning of this video. The third P is proof. Okay, so what is proof? Proof is, you know, if I'm going to give you some information, like I'm giving you information in this video, I have to prove to you that it's valid. Now how do I do that? I prove to you by saying, hey, I've been online since 2009, I've sold millions of dollars of products, both physical and digital, and on this channel I show you how to do it too. Okay, so what I did is I gave you that proof right up front, and then you bought in. You said, well, he's already done this, he's already sold products online, he must know what he's doing, he's been doing it since 2009, that's a lot of years, so maybe I should listen to this video. So I'm just going down those 4 P steps, and that is the third one. I provided you with proof, and that proof was enough to keep you watching this video. And the next thing I'll tell you is that you want to show somebody, not tell somebody. So if I say I'm really good at selling stuff online, that's just telling you something. If I show you and I say my products are on, you know, thousands of websites including Walmart, you know, that is actually showing you something. And if you can show me something rather than tell me something, it's going to be a lot more convincing. Now the last P, and that's probably why you watch this video, is for the pitch. When you're actually trying to get them to say, yes, I want to buy your product, yes, I'll take your services. And that is really the smallest point of your sales presentation. You know, a lot of people think, you know, I've got to spend 90% of my presentation convincing them to buy my product, when in fact you don't. If you did the other 3 P's correctly, by the time you get to the pitch, it's not that hard to actually sell somebody on something, because they've already mentally bought into it when they get to that stage. Now the pitch is still required, you still have to ask them to buy your product, so let's get into that real quick so I can show you how to do that. These steps are sometimes known as Cialdini's 7 principles. If you incorporate these principles into your sales presentation, then you're going to be a whole lot more successful. If you don't include them, you won't close as many sales. So include as many of these 7 as you possibly can. The first one is scarcity. Okay, if there's a product and there's not a lot of them, the person looking at the product is going to say, oh my God, you know, there's not much of this, I want to get this before it's all gone. Now in the case of cars, you know, sometimes we would trade in a car and it would be, you know, a beautiful car and it had low miles on it and all this, and I would say, hey, I've got this one car, it hasn't been through the shop yet, but come on around back, we just traded in, we've only got one like this, super low miles, this lady was 80 years old, she barely ever drove this car, and it showed the scarcity. There's only one of these, okay, and it's a really nice car. So that scarcity would get people really interested in that car. And I wasn't talking about price, I wasn't talking about what a great deal it was, none of that stuff. I was talking about what a great product it was. The next thing you want to put in there is social proof. Any kind of social proof that you can put in there is, you know, great. I know at our survival food company we have testimonials of people who have eaten our foods and bought our foods and gotten good results, and you know, you can watch videos on those people and see what they've said about it. And that social proof really helps too, because people think, well, if other people like it, if other people got good results, then I probably will too. And the next thing is commitment and consistency. Okay, these things are super important, and we want to get people committed to buying our product, okay? And we want to be consistent in our message. So we have to ask them little qualifying questions like, you know, where will you go with your new car? What will you do with it? And they start telling us all the things they're going to do with it, and the trips they're planning, and you know, where the kids are going to be sitting in the car and all that. And in doing that, they're actually committing to buy, but they don't quite realize that. And of course, liking, you know, you want people to like you, okay? If they don't like you, they're probably not going to like your product, or if they don't like your company. So you have to become likable, and the best way to do that is listen to them and let them talk more than you talk. You also have to have unity. You guys have to have a meeting of the minds. They have to know that you're on the same wavelength as they are. You have the same thoughts that they do, and by doing that and having that unity, it makes them more likely to buy your product. Of course, the next up is authority. Okay, so like in the beginning of this video, I told you that I've been selling online since 2009, that I've sold physical products and digital products, and that in effect makes me an expert because I've already done it. You can look my name up on Google, and you can find me on there, and you can see that I do sell these products. So I have that authority, and people want to buy from the voice of authority because they feel like they're going to give them a good recommendation. The next thing up is reciprocity. Reciprocity is awesome. That's where I'm going to do something for you before you have to buy my product. So in many cases, like on this video here, I'm going to give you a free e-commerce course. It's $97. You can go down the description, click the link, get the course. You'll see it's a good course, and then you'll probably want to buy more products from me. I know at the dealership when we had people coming in, I would go and buy them sodas and waters and crackers and candies for the kid or whatever, and just hand it out to them, because now they've taken something from me, and since they've done that, they feel this reciprocity where they feel like they've got to do something for me. Now the only thing they can do for me is buy the car. So since I've given them all these things, now they feel like they owe me a little bit. So reciprocity is awesome too. Now the last thing I want to tell you is don't give them too many choices. In 2000 there were psychologists that did a study. It was Sheena Lingar and Mark Lepper from Columbia and Stanford University, and they published a study about jams. Kind of interesting. They took a regular day in a grocery store and they set up a display with 24 different kinds of jams for people to sample. Then on another day they did the same survey and they set up 6 different kinds of jams for people to sample. Now on the surface you would look at this and say, well, with more choices I'm sure they sold a lot more jams when they had 24 than when they had 6. And the fact is they actually sold more when they only offered 6. And the reason for that is it's too many choices. It's choice overload. If you give people way too many choices, you're going to find that they won't buy at all because it's overload. But with giving those people only 6 jams versus 24 jams, they did a whole lot better and they sold a whole lot more jam on those days. Okay, so here's my pitch to you. Are you ready for my pitch? Here's what I want you to do. I want you to subscribe to my channel. Go down there and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget bell notifications. Hit that bell. If you hit that bell, turn on all notifications. I can let you know every single time I do a new video. I can actually email you and notify you. That way you don't have to search for it. Now don't forget, I have that e-commerce course. It's a $97 course. Down in the description, all you have to do is click on it, click and learn. No credit card required. Have you tried to sell before? Have you had a hard time selling? Put your comments and questions below. I want to know what experience you've had with trying to sell stuff online or in person. And if you've had some successes, tell me about those. Don't forget, give me a thumbs up on this video. I appreciate you listening, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey, thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click that little bell right there so you can be notified every time I do a new video. Also, click on one of those videos there. Keep watching on my channel.